spring 2024 anime season has brought tons of new anime, and me being a loser that watches rom-coms, I decided to see if we got anything on the level of Rent a Girlfriend this season. This anime started off and I see old people and I'm thinking this is about to be like Freerun, a nice wholesome story about the passage of time. And then 5 seconds in they turned young as hell and I was like, bro, when did this happen? How did this happen? They went from, hey, can you help me use the bathroom to, hey, you want to help me in the bathroom? I didn't even realize what was happening. And then I stopped and was like, what is the name of this anime? And then I was like, oh, now it's all clear. That makes sense. So besides the fact that the name of the anime is Grandpa and Grandma are Rejuvenated, that sounds a little like the title of something else, I still thought there was a chance that it was just a rom-com about old people being young, and it's gonna lean into these slower anime traits that have taken over the industry and really saute your mind with bliss and reflection to make you sit and think about every decision you've made and where you fit into the universe. Yeah, that did not happen. Both of them can pull. Jesus Christ, they came out looking like Steve Rogers after the steroids. How did they go from this to that? And I barely understand how that happened. All they did was eat a golden apple. Like, what? They just became local celebrities out of nowhere. They even had their own grandkid looking at the grandpa with googly eyes. And at that point, I was like, what is going on? Maybe they just want to shock you into it, but no. It's everyone. Everyone is looking at these grandparents, but I mean, hey, scenes like this were pretty fun. At this point, I understood what was happening. Most new anime are either really basic, really deep, or they just go full balls to the wall and go as crazy as possible, and don't leave a single stone left unturned. No red tape. You think they're gonna do it, and they will do it. And honestly, being an anime watcher and anime YouTuber, in a lot of ways, we're always waiting to see insane stories get adapted and see what the barrier can be pushed to. With the likes of Chainsaw Man, Solo Leveling, Freerun, what insane concept can you use that actually makes us go, damn, this is really good? And Grandpa and Grandma Are Rejuvenated does not disappoint. When you think it's gonna slow down and taper down, it just throws more and more curveballs at you until you're sat there like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna just have to sit back and stay for the ride here. And going back to the title, which really tells you a lot about the show, they are grandparents. That means they have grandkids. And if they have grandkids, that means they have children. And if they have children, that means all of a sudden they're younger than their own kids. And going back to the fact that they have grandkids, their son got a wife who does this.
Oh, Kaede-san. ごめんなさい。こちらも取り乱しちゃって。まさかお父さんがあんなイケメンだったなんて。どうしましょう。落ち着きなさい、Kaede.
At this point, you knew that it was going to be a wild anime. Notice how I'm showing these examples and no reaction to these grandparents becoming young, and no one is too blown away by the fact that their grandparents all of a sudden became super young? That's because they all got over it faster than you guys gonna hit the like button on this video, because Jesus Christ, you would have thought this was like an everyday occurrence. All the fellow grandparents are sitting there oogling eyes and oogling and oogling and oogling over and over. Even the kids are oogling. Even the middle-aged people are salivating over them. Like, Jesus Christ, what are they trying to do? And speaking of that, if you're wondering what the plot of this anime is, well, besides everything I just said, the meat and potatoes of this episode is the two grandparents competing in a grandparents-only sports festival, and they just go full berserk. Look at this grandpa. His ass would make Guts put the sword down. What was bro doing in his youth to be veining more than Sam Solo? Jesus Christ. If he posted on Instagram, it would just be filled with, what are your macros, bro? Good list. What's your workouts? Do you hit legs? Of course you don't hit legs, because only losers hit legs, and the animation does not need to go this hard. They're tearing through others with no regard for anything, and seriously, this unique animation is absolutely appreciated, because they could have just gone with a boring style, a really basic chibi style, a really basic romance anime style, the classic damn near AI style, and no one expects these romance anime to have stellar animation, and to be honest, most romance anime have pretty bad animation, but switching the style for highlight moments like this, it's really dope, and it creates a standout moment in our minds that, hey, this has a really weird concept, really insane jokes, but there definitely was a level of effort here, and there must be something really good about this show if they're going that hard on the animation. And I don't know who animated this, but you can tell they had a lot of fun while doing it and understand what funny moments are and how to actually make funny moments funny, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but as you guys probably know, most rom-coms have super corny humor, super corny dialogue, and super corny scenes. And I don't know if me being American makes me less harsh towards jokes in anime just because I don't fully understand it, but this anime anime definitely need to lean into the animation and editing in order to make their jokes not be awkward, because there's a lot of anime that really force comedy, and instead of sitting there laughing, you're sitting there stone-faced rethinking every decision you've made in your life that led you down a path that you clicked on an anime that told a joke so egregious and unfunny, you begin questioning your own humor. If you've gone too far down this rabbit hole, if there's any turning back, would it matter if you turn back? And Grandpa and Grandma Are Rejuvenated is your savior by creating actually good comedy in a rom-com. But something I alluded to earlier that I think a lot of the other episodes are going to focus on is the latter half, where they focus on the grandparents and the mom, for some reason, interacting with their granddaughter, talking to a boy. There's moments where it feels like the younger kids are going to be asking the grandparents for advice on relationships and all that kind of stuff, as well as the parents from their perspective, looking for guidance on how to grow up and how life can change your perspective on everything from love to relationships to interacting even with friends. And if it's anything like other romance anime, there's going to be an episode where somehow, someway, these five, yes, all five of them, are all going to end up going somewhere with the others on a date, because it's anime and that's how you get all the characters together, and then through that they're somehow going to all learn how to be good in relationships. You also realize in this section that the grandparents are also looking for guidance, but the concept leaves a lot of room for some even better stories, and is one of the most hyped anime coming into 2024 because of all the possibilities, and definitely not because of how the characters are drawn. Please tell me you're not watching because how the grandma is drawn. Being someone that's not familiar with the manga, I felt like this episode was packed with comedy and a lot of room to have serious underlying themes blended well with the comedy, particularly in one of the more serious moments of the episode when they're talking to their adult son who just seems to be done with life, and every interaction with all the other characters implies that the grandparents feel like they've gotten a second chance at life, and also showing off what it was like to grow up many years ago during simpler but more complicated times. There comes a moment when the grandma is explaining to the granddaughter that the grandfather was initially arranged to marry another girl and that their relationship almost never existed. That created a moment where the grandparents actually acted their age, because most of the time you kind of forget they're old, and if it wasn't for the white hair you really would have no idea that they're that old. It's become pretty normal in anime to introduce really cool concepts and not fully commit to it, or introduce elements of an anime with no explanation. I don't think anyone needs some super deep analysis on why they've magically become young, but it seems with time they're going to add a more heavy focus on their past, creating real themes and real value of the show besides just humor and entertainment. And considering the fact that the grandma has been around the block, they're going to be able to teach lessons in a really fun way, and it's going to be a lot like Frieren. Instead of being wholesome about life and time, it's going to lean into humor of some of the more realistic aspects that everyone goes through in everyday life. And with most romance anime having the same generic plot lines of nerd boy meets girl and becomes social, or nerd boy meets girl and all of a sudden has a harem, or harem meets boy and boy accepts, or boy rents girlfriend, what is the plot of this one or this one? Pretty clear the genre as a whole is lacking innovation and has become a byproduct of the industry as a whole lacking creativity. But now we have a golden child or grandparent, and Grandpa and Grandma Are Rejuvenated. So if you enjoyed this, check out this anime on a video gamer getting a girlfriend, and make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and don't forget, we're just getting started, we're going to stay consistent, and I will see you in the next video.